Hello all. In this video, we are going to learn about a very important concept in Google Cloud networking, that is a shared VPC. So in this video, we'll see what is a shared VPC, what is host project, what is service project, how to create shared VPC in Google Cloud, how to attach a service project to the host project shared VPC, and what are the different permissions and roles required to create a shared VPC. And we'll try to create one VM instance in a shared VPC. Okay. So before starting this, we'll just see what is a shared VPC. So just take an example. As an architect, I'm working on designing the application in Google Cloud, and just take the first architecture here. I have mentioned architecture 1. So I'm creating a single virtual private cloud, and I'm creating some virtual machine for my application as a web server. Then I'm creating few more virtual machine, and I'm deploying my database or installing my database servers on that virtual machine. And in the same project, I'm having my GKE application or app engine, and I'm using the cloud logging and cloud monitoring. Now, this is a standard process we follow when we are learning a Google Cloud or where we are doing the hands-on on a Google Cloud. But when we work as an organization, this is not a standard practice to create a Google Cloud architecture. Here, what will happen? So suppose we have different teams. So suppose we have networking team, we have database team, then we have application team. So we have to give access to each team. So if we are creating everything in a single project, we have to give access to everyone to this project. So the networking team can access the resources related to database, and database team can access the resources related to a virtual private cloud. And even though suppose if we have multiple projects, then each project we have to create a different VPC. So that is not a feasible architecture or not a best practice for architecture. So what is a best practice when we are creating the Google Cloud architecture for a organization? So I'll show you the architecture 2 now. So here, just take an example here. What I'm doing here, I'm creating one project as a network project, and I'm creating all resources related to networking in that project. So you could see I'm creating the VPC here. I'm creating the firewall rules in this network project. I'm creating the VPN or interconnect, all resources related to network in a network project. Then I'm creating one more project, compute project, and here I'm creating all compute resources like my application servers, my GKE or my app engine, and I'm sharing the VPC created in the network project. So I'm not creating any VPC in my compute project. So I'm just using the VPC created in the network project because that is a shared VPC, and this VPC is shared across multiple service projects. Now, similarly for database as well, I will create separate project for database, and there I will create the virtual machine for database, or I'll create my spanner instance, or I'll create my cloud SQL instance. And again, I'll create one separate project for monitoring. So all these projects will send logs through the log router for logging and monitoring into this separate monitoring project. Now, why this is easier for organization and the best practice? So what will happen? So if I want to assign a role to the networking team, I will assign role only into this network project. For application team, I'll just assign required role into this compute project, and for database team, I will assign role only to this database project. And suppose I have any L1 team or any monitoring team, I'll assign role into this monitoring project only. So this is a best practice. For this, we have to create a VPC in network project, and we have to share that VPC across other projects. So in which project we have a shared VPC, that is called a host project, which is hosting my shared VPC, and other project which are using this shared VPC are called as a service project. Okay, so that is a base concept of the shared VPC. We'll create this shared VPC, host project and service project in Cloud Console as well. But before that, we'll see some technical aspect of a shared VPC. So this shared VPC allows organization to connect resources from multiple projects to a common VPC. The same we see here. So it's allowing multiple projects to connect to the shared VPC in the host project. Okay. So when you use a shared VPC, you designate a project as a host project and attach one or more other service projects. So again, I'll go back here. So you could see this will be my host project, and attached project are called as service project. Okay. So the VPC networks in the host project are called a shared VPC network, and eligible resources from service project can use subnet in the shared VPC network. So to implement a security based practices of least privilege for network administration, auditing and access control, this is a useful. So as I mentioned, it is useful when you have to apply a security best practices on your Google Cloud design. So this is very important. So now what I will do, I'll go to my Cloud Console. I'll try to create a host project. I'll try to create a shared VPC, and on a first try, what I will do, I'll just try to create it with a default permission, and I'll get some error, and then I will assign a required role to my ID, and then I'll try to create. So what will happen, we'll understand what are the different roles and permission required to create a shared VPC. So let's go to the Cloud Console. Now let's see how we can create a shared VPC and how we can create a host project in our Google Cloud. So one thing to remember here, if you are using a personal project or the project without any organization, here suppose if you see it is having no organization, so the project inside no organization, and if you try to create a shared VPC in it, it will not allow you to create a shared VPC because it will need an organization. So if I go here and we'll see the message, shared VPC is only available for the project within an organization. So I cannot create in this project. So I already created an organization for me and I am having full access on that organization. So here you could see the techtapture.com, and from this organization I have multiple folders and projects. So what I will do, I will use these two projects, and I have given the naming convention as a tt-h-dev. It means I will use this as my host project and I will use this as my service project. Now how I can create or assign it as a host project and create a shared VPC. So let me show you that. So first I will go to this project, and I already created a one VPC network in this project. So this is a standard VPC network I have created. So I have just given the name as a shared VPC. As of now I am not shared it with any of the project. I just created one shared VPC and I given name as a shared VPC. So now I will go to shared VPC section here, and I have option here to set up a shared VPC. So I'll click on this, and I'm expecting some permissions issue here because I just want to show you what are the permissions required to perform this operation. So if I do save and continue, yeah, so it is saying required compute.organization enable xpn host permission for this project. So I need this permission. So either you can Google this permission is assigned in any role, or you can individually assign this permission to the custom service account. So what I will do, I know this permission is available in compute shared admin role. So I'll go to my organization. So this role has to be given on the organization. That one more thing you have to remember. So I'll go to my organization. Okay, so now what I will do here, if you are going here, you have to select in all, you have to select an organization, techtapture.com, which is your root node of your Google Cloud, and I'll go to IAM now. So in IAM I'll find my ID. So even though it is a full access organization admin, still I need to assign this access explicitly. So just remember that thing. So I will assign compute VPC shared admin. Okay, compute shared VPC admin. So this is a role name. So I'll assign this role, which will allow me to interact or create or delete a shared VPC. Now I assign this role. I'll just retry this operation now. So earlier it was giving error. Let me retry. Okay, now it allowed me to create that. And now let's see here. I have option here to subnet to share. I will choose this one subnet, compute subnet, and I'll continue. And now service project, we have to attach a service project. So from here, as I shown, I want to use one project as my service project. So this one I am using as my host project, and this one I want to use as a service project. So I'll go to this project first, and in this project you should have your compute engine API enabled. So I'll go to compute engine, and API would be enabled already. I worked on this project on compute, so API would be enabled here. So API is enabled, else it will ask me to enable API. So now I'll just use this ttdev project as a service project, and I'll click on save. So else what I will do, I won't share anything now. I'll just create this shared VPC and host project, and later I will attach a project. Now you could see this is not shared with any project, and if I go to attach project, so nothing is here. Now always remember, this will be your host project. Now you could see this is your host project, and attached projects are always your service project. So I'll go to attach project now, and now I will choose this project. So here compute engine API should be enabled. So if I try for this one, it will give me an error if API is not enabled. So suppose let's try to attach to this project. Okay, so it is giving an error. Let's see what it says. So compute engine API is not enabled for this project. So that's what I said. So I'll go to dev project and I'll try to attach this dev project. Here API is already enabled. Now one more thing I want to show here. So if I want to create a virtual machine in this project, what are the available options I can see before sharing this VPC with this service project. So now suppose I want to create virtual machine in US Central 1. I'm not worried about any of the boot disk or anything. I'll directly go to the network section, and I'll see available networks here. So in network, I can see only default one for now, and here I do not have any other option, only the default network I have here. But suppose I'll attach this to the service project. I'll attach the service project to the host project, and we'll see what are the different options. I'll see. So I will share this single subnet, and I will save this. Okay, now this is my service project, and this will be my host project. Now let me reload this page. And we'll see what are the options available now once we shared our network to the other project. So we'll go with US Central 1, and I'll directly go to the networking again. So we'll see what are the available options in networking now. So I'll just click on this drop down. Now you could see here is new option, network shared with me from host project tt-h dev-002. If I click on this, so here I can select this subnet. So it means I am creating virtual machine in this dev project, but I am accessing the network which is created in this host project. So it means this host project is sharing VPC network with other projects. So I can attach multiple projects to this host project, and we can simply create a VPC. We'll see if it will give an error. So VPC is being created. Not VPC, it's VM instance. So VM is created, and you could see the network is shared VPC. So currently we are in a dev project. This is not a host project, this is service project. But if I click on this shared VPC, it will redirect me to the host project, because this is VPC created in the host project. Now you can see it is in the host project. So as a standard practice, will only networking team have access to this project. All related to networking firewalls will be maintained into this project, and the compute VMs will be maintained in the dev project. That will be our service projects. So that's it for a shared VPC. If you have any doubt related to shared VPC, just let me know, and I'll try to answer that. So thank you for watching this video.